Hey there students, in today's video we'll be going through 5 practice problems on inventory, going through perpetual inventory, FIFO, LIFO, conceptual questions, multiple choice, and more. I will walk you through this step by step to prepare you for your exams or just learn inventory accounting in general. Let's get into it. Okay, so question number 1 here. Let's read what they're asking for first. If an Indigo company uses the LIFO method, so we know they're using LIFO, which, if you know, last in, first out. So what that means, the last units they got, the most recent purchases in their inventory, they actually take first when a sale is made. So they're asking for what is the cost of goods sold, cost of what they sold. So what we have to do, we have to go and look first how many units were sold. That's always step 1. Step 1, sold, units sold. How many were sold? And if you see up here, it says there's 1,250 units sold. Another important part here is perpetual inventory, meaning it's always updating in real time. Now in this example, it's less important because we're at the end of the month, the very end of the month. As we know, you can see at the very end of February here, the very end. And so we're just gonna look back and find the cost of goods sold using LIFO. But if it were static, or you could say like staggered sales throughout, staggered, so meaning like they got some inventory, then they made a sale, and then they had more inventory, made a sale, that will change things. But this problem, no. So we have to worry just about 1,250 units sold. So step 1, figure out what's sold, 1,250. Now what we do, we have to go back, look backwards, and find the most recent purchases and assign it to cost of goods sold. So the most recent, if you look at the dates, this is the 27th of February, that's the most recent. So we're gonna take this number first. We take all of this 290, it's at $12. Let's go ahead and multiply this out here. So $290 are 290 units times 12. And we get 3480. Okay, we've used up 290. So we need to go ahead and figure out some numbers here. We know that we had 1,250 units sold. We used up 290. So let's go ahead and get the difference. That's how much we have left to account for. Minus 290, and we get 960. 960 to go. So that means on the 22nd, which again, we're going back, it's the most recent after the 27th, we used up all 350 units because we have 960 we're looking for. We're going to use all it up, 350. So we just multiply that out and we get 3,500. Now we subtract from there. We used another 350. So what do we get for that? 610. 610 to go. Well, look at this. On the 10th, we had 720 units. That means that we can use the 610, use it all up, but we will have some left over. So we're gonna use up 610. So let's go ahead and multiply that out. So we'll do 610, and I'll just do it right here so you can see it. 610 times 8, $8. And there we are, 4880. So 3560. 3480. So we're going to actually add these up. So 4880 plus 3560 plus 3480. And there we are. We get 11,920. And let me make sure that's right. I know what I messed up there. Sorry, this was not 6. This was a 0. Sorry, 3,500. Let's try that again. 4880 plus 3,500 plus 3480. There we go. Sorry about that. It's actually 11,860. There we go. Letter C. That's what they were asking for. So went through that step by step. Again, LIFO, the most recent purchases you assign to cost of goods sold first. Okay, next problem here. Using the same data set as the previous problem, let's take a look. It says that if the company used LIFO, what's the ending inventory? So we just found cost of goods sold. We got to figure out ending inventory. Well, it's kind of what it sounds like. The inventory that's left after cost of goods sold. So we go back up here. We already took out, I go ahead and say that we took out, so we got down to 0 here, right? But if you remember, we had 720 units there, and we only used 610. So what's remaining out of that? Well, if you do the math, it's pretty simple, but we'll do it on the calculator here. 720 minus 610 is 110 units. So that's actually what we had left there, remaining. So we need to take that and we need to multiply it times 8. So 110 times 8, and we get 880. I'll just move that here so we can have some space. So that's 880 for that batch. And then what was left was beginning inventory. We never used it. So we just take 300 times the 5 there. And I'll zoom in so you can make sure you can see it here. 300 times 5. And that's pretty easy math too. It's going to be 1,500. So if we add this up, let's take a look. There we are. We get 2380. Let's go ahead and move down here and see if that was right. There we go. Letter B, I'll zoom in, is your answer. So that happens all the time on tests. They'll have two-part questions based on the same data set. So it's really good to make sure you take notes along the way, right? Because it might be a second question like this one. We had to go back up and reference the data set, reference our previous work, and then since we did the work already, it was much easier to find the right answer for this one. Okay, question number 3. If costs are rising, so we know costs are going up, right? So rising, meaning that it just gets more costly during the month, which inventory method will have the highest cost of goods sold, the biggest? Well, you got to think about this. If costs are going up, right, let's just call it, we'll call it number 1 batch. We'll call it each of them are like $10 each. Then the next batch is 12. Then the next batch is 14, etc. These are each batches of units, right? If it's going up, what would have the higher cost of goods sold? Well, let's think about it. So if costs are going up, the most recent purchases will be the most, right? Because it's going up. And so what method takes the most recent purchases and assigns it to cost of goods sold? Most recent or last, the last ones they got, right? The most recent is the highest number, so that means that cost of goods sold was assigned to LIFO. These are hard. My students always have trouble with these questions because there's no numbers involved. But that doesn't mean you can make your own numbers up. You can always make your own numbers up. In fact, I recommend it so it makes sense to you. The most recent costs were the highest, and LIFO takes the most recent costs. So it must be LIFO as the highest cost of goods sold. Okay, next question here. So this one's asking, a physical count of merchandise on October 11th reveals there's only 175 units left. Now, they're just asking which method of inventory which results in the highest gross profit. The highest. So gross profit being the highest. What does that mean? Well, that means that cost of goods sold, and I'll just say GS, if the highest gross profit is what we're looking for, that means cost of goods sold is the lowest. So that's a good question, right? How do we get cost of goods sold? If we can get that, we can figure out which one will result in the highest gross profit. Well, to do that, we have to figure out the cost of the units. If we scroll up here, it gives us October 11th, 10th, this should be, call it 12th, 15th, 28th. So we actually need to get the cost per unit to figure this out, and I'll show you what I mean. First off, we know the total is 980 and there's 35 units. So what do we do to get the per unit? We divide. And that's not 35 divided by 980, it's reversed. So 980 divided by 35, because we're trying to get the cost per unit. 980 divided by 35 equals, this is $28, the first one. We just go down the line. We know that 5250 divided by 175, 30, and it's just going to keep going here. 6400 divided by 200, 32. Probably guess this one here. 5100 divided by 150, 34. So what's happening here? Costs are rising. Costs are rising. So we're trying to figure out, if costs are rising, which method can we use that results in the lowest cost of goods sold? Well, if costs are rising, we should find a method that will use the oldest inventory, the older units, right? These dates here. Which one uses the older stuff to assign the cost of goods sold? That's what we're trying to find out, because that's going to result in our highest gross profit. Well, the oldest or first units they bought, first units, it's called FIFO. That uses the oldest units, which is going to result in the lowest cost, right? Because those are the lowest cost per unit. And if it's the lowest cost of goods sold, that means your gross profit will be high. And that is the FIFO method, letter A. So we'll just circle that there. Letter A is the FIFO method, results in the lowest cost of goods sold when costs are rising. That means our gross profit will be high. Okay, problem number 5, last question. If FIFO is used, what is the value of ending inventory? And how does this affect the balance sheet? So 2 parts here, short answer. We're going to have to go back up and reference that data set to figure this out. We're just looking for the value of ending inventory, and we're using FIFO. So we scroll up here. What is the value of our ending inventory? Well, we know that 175 units are left. It says that at the end of October, 175. So that's the easiest way to do this here. What we're going to do is just locate the 175. And we're using FIFO. That means they've already used up everything up until this point except 175. That means that they still have 150 units here, right? So now we're going to use up all 150, which is $5,100. They've already told us. However, it's 175, not 150. So we need to take 25 units from here. How do we get the total number there? Well, we've already calculated the per unit cost. It was $32. You have 25 units, so let's just go over here and do it. 25 units times $32. So that's $800, and we had the $5,100 over there. So add up those two. And that's pretty easy, $6,000. So I'll just scroll down and I'll plug that into the question. So we know that this answer here is going to be $6,000 for your ending inventory. Now, how does this affect the balance sheet? Well, it's ending inventory. So where does it go on the balance sheet? Well, inventory is a current asset. I'll just call it CA, current asset, right? That is a short-term asset. It goes on your balance sheet in the assets section. So what does this do? It increases your current assets. That's an arrow. Increases current assets on the balance sheet. All right, and we finished that there. So that's it. That's 5 questions there on inventory. And that was 5 practice problems on inventory accounting, multiple choice, short answer. I walk you through it step by step. If you really enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And soon I'll have cheat sheets, More practice problems, bonus videos, and more at accountinguni.com. And if you're watching this video, it might already be up, so go ahead and check it out. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.